So money was always kind of tight for me, especially those first few years when I was living on my own in university. Now, tell me if you feel the same way, because a lot of my peers at school share the same sentiment that us university kids, we're not exactly living in luxury. Well, we're not high earners, right? We're still on our degree paths and just kind of chugging along, waiting it out for us to get that golden ticket job later on in our career. So maybe you have a part-time job or you don't work at all, but I've always kind of had to work to pay for school at the same time, so having a part-time job was pretty much essential for me. And what makes it even more challenging is most of us don't even know really what we want to do. Like for me, I'm following a degree in filmmaking at Portland State University, but I also really love finance, and I just got licensed to be a real estate agent in the state of Oregon. So I kind of have my hands in multiple buckets, and I'm not quite sure where I want to go next. But it's not always been about the money, how high paying a job is for me. I've always asked myself, where do I want to go in the future? I find that it's easier to ask those questions when I'm not thinking about money a lot. More so, I'm not worried about money all the time. So finding clarity, peace of mind through having a little bit of a savings built up and having a little bit of a cushion helps give me that peace of mind so that I can stay clear on my own goals, not related to money. This all wraps around to the point that I'm trying to make here. You see, when money is tight for me, I find that I just think about it a lot. Now, I've never been one to want just a lot of money for the sake of having it, but I've wanted to have enough money to where I don't have to worry about it, to where I don't have to think about it. And I'm sure that's the goal for a lot of people out there, because when you're not focusing on money, you can actually focus on the finer things in life, and you can actually do what you want to do. Hey everyone, I'm Bruce Bradbury. I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'm going to be talking about how I'm maximizing my wallet while still not making a lot of money. I always say that you don't have to be making a lot of money to build wealth. It just takes determination in your savings. And I actually make $13.25 an hour at my college job. So yeah, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing to not only make myself feel richer, but what I'm doing to build my savings and build my wealth. And that has to do with the amount of money that I'm saving every month. This might sound crazy, but I save 56% of my income. And if you're about to ask me why 56%, I really don't have an answer. It's kind of this arbitrary number I thought of. But I thought with a higher savings rate, with a higher percentage, somewhere around 50 to 60%, I can build my wealth a lot faster. All right, so I'm gonna pull up my phone and show you my monthly budget. So first off, this budget is based on the income goal of $2,500 a month. And a thing I just like to consider is I don't always hit this target. It's actually really hard for me to make this much money off of, 13, 25, 15 an hour. This budget is not based for me on the number, the number of dollars. It's more based on the percentage. So the percentage is really what I'm worrying about. So we're gonna start off with my allocation plan, which is really where it all happens. Before I do anything, I get my paycheck in the mail, I get my paycheck direct deposit. First thing I do is I put 56% of that in savings. I put the money in savings first because it is the most important thing to me. The most important thing that I do with my paycheck is to inevitably work towards building my wealth. So my savings goal is very specifically put at the beginning because savings is the first thing that I do whenever I get a paycheck. Say I get a paycheck of $1,000. First thing I do is multiply it by 0.56. $560 just goes away into another bank account. I don't even have to think about it. Next, I'm going to be looking at needs, 40%. And I kind of adjusted this after the fact because I know, hey, I have rent, I have a car payment, I have food costs, and sometimes I have to buy new clothes, but I really have about $1,000 of fixed expenses, things that I can't change every month. And lastly, this budget is really simple. I only have 3 items on it, is wants at 4%, which is about $100. So this really comes last because it's my last priority. If I want to go out and get some food on the road, or if I want to just kind of spend money on something that I don't really need, I've allocated, a percentage, just a little bit every month of money I have for something I call like discretionary expenses. These things I rank, by priority level. So I'm going to make sure that I save this amount of money every month. And I'm gonna make sure that I pay my bills every month, because everyone's obligated to pay bills, you have to pay your bills. And if I don't make up, that last 4% in income, well, that kind of sucks for me because I don't get that $100 for once. Something I hear from friends a lot whenever I tell them that I save 56% of my income is, well, I have a lot of bills and those have to come first because I'm kind of obligated to pay my bills. I don't want to be out on the street. I have to pay my rent first. Okay, and here's my argument for that. It's very important to pay your bills. You have to, but it's also very important to pay yourself in savings. In the past, I've barely made enough money to pay rent. And that's my number one focus, right? Is like getting enough money in the month to pay my rent. Say my rent's $1,000. I'm gonna work. Oh, I have enough money to pay my rent. I can stop working. I don't have to work anymore. So I have money to pay rent. I'm fine. I don't have to pay my obligations anymore. And oftentimes I'll make sure that I have enough money to hit my expenses, to pay for all my expenses, and then I'll get a little bit lazy. And I'll say, oh, I'll put this kind of change away to my savings, but I'm not really making any big progress. By putting my savings above my expenses, it shifts my priorities. First, I have to hit this obligation, and then I have to hit this obligation. I have to save this amount for my savings, and then I have to find a way to save money for my rent. So this is why, I hope I explained it clearly enough, but this is why I kind of make sure that my savings are my first and foremost priority. So below this allocation plan, I have kind of a deeper breakdown of where all of this money goes. So within savings, which is the 56%, the first 40% I'm going to use to pay off debts first. I have student loans for going to college. I have a car loan, so I'm just paying those off slowly. And the reason I'm not just using all of my savings amount to pay off all those debts is I want to make sure that I have a little bit left over for myself. The point of this video, the point of like what I'm trying to do here is make sure that I'm pretty much paying myself, right? Throughout my savings. I'm not just using all the money that I get to go ahead and hand to someone else. Even though they are debts, I'm paying them off slowly just so that I can maintain my own personal savings. Secondly, 30% goes to my 6-month emergency fund. And this is something that I'm still growing. I still don't quite have the 6-month emergency fund. And the emergency fund is basically making sure that you have enough money in savings to cover 6 months of emergency expenses. So think of it like if you lost your job, if you're not working, then you can cover all your expenses for 6 months and you don't even have to worry about it. So that's really what it is. I'm building up for my emergency fund by just kind of cobbling that pool of money together. And I'm not quite paid it. When I do have enough money in my 6-month emergency fund, which, for me, I think would it be about $6,000 to $8,000, then I'm going to kind of, cross that off the list and then reallocate that money to somewhere else. The next 10% is going into my Roth IRA account. So if you don't know what a Roth IRA, it's a really cool thing. It's basically an investment account meant for your retirement. For me, I'm investing in index funds within this retirement account, but basically it's like a stock trading account that you put money into and then you invest in stocks and that money grows over time and you don't start taking money out until a certain retirement age. I'm 20 years old now, so that Roth IRA account isn't really going to benefit me until I'm around 60, 65 years old. So it's kind of this long-term investment that I'm doing for myself. And the next 20% is other investing. And this is where I am going to do kind of short-term investing. These are things, for example, I'm using like Robinhood to invest in individual stocks or indexes. And this is kind of where I want to invest in a steady and stable way, but in a way that's more liquid than putting it in a retirement account that is kind of locked off to me until retirement. And then the third, needs. Very easy. I mean, these are going to be variable for everyone. So 90% goes to my rent and utilities, and then 5% for transportation and gas, and then another 5% for subscriptions. This goes to me, having a website and having Netflix and Hulu and stuff like this. And then the wants, really, I mean, I don't really have anything line itemed off for wants. It's just $100 that I go to giving to myself. Okay, everyone, that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed the video. It was kind of fun to go through my budget with you. Remember, just savings is like the number one I'm gonna say to like anyone. Just keeping mind on saving up money, it's going to be very beneficial for the future. And also, you know, a big portion of that is keeping expenses low. So I know it sometimes feels like it has to be, you know, perfect world scenario to keep those rent and car expenses low. But by keeping those expenses low, you have a lot more flexibility to save more money. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm Bruce Bradbury, and please like the video if you enjoyed the content. And let me know, you know, if you'd like to see videos like this in the future. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a great day.